government announced that all barber shops and hairdressers will be closed from today onwards, and that's 22nd of April. So I thought that it would be useful for parents especially to learn at least the basic techniques of how to cut your kids' hair. But in this so-called video, I will also include how to cut adults' hair. It will be applicable to adults' hair. What I'm teaching you now is not the full-fledged course or technique. Alright, I'm trying to simplify things so that you can make the basic cut so that the hair looks neater, and it's not meant for you to have a full haircut like the one that you have at your barber or hairdressers, and it's supposed to just maintain your hair so that it will last at least for the next 6 weeks or so. Alright, okay. So the first part is the preparation part. I'm going to introduce to you the equipment that you may need. If you are cutting a boy's hair, I would think that it would be really very useful. Okay, so this is my clipper. I have two of them actually. This one is this brand called Wahl. It's a US brand and it's quite popular and is of very good quality. And there's a lot of models out there. I went to look into some online shops, and there's lots of models that are being sold. This is the Wahl Pro Lithium series. So this was recommended to us when we took the hair dressing course, and it's really very good. So that's how a general clipper looks like. So basically the good ones are a bit lightweight, so that it's more comfortable. And this one is slightly more expensive because it is cordless, so yeah, it's much easier for you to carry around and you don't need to drag the wire along with you when you're cutting someone's hair. Alright, so generally what are we looking at for a clipper? Usually you will have this small little handle over here which you can turn up and down. So that makes a difference. We call it the half position. Alright, so that you can see that the teeth here is closer. Right, can you see? Right, and then when you open it up, you can see that there's a big gap over there. Okay, so when I teach you how to cut, I will talk about this half position. Alright, so just take note about that. Usually clippers come with this comb, clipper comb. Right, and different models, different brands will come with different quantity of combs. Some have 8, some have 5, some only have 2. Alright, so mine has 4. Alright, and there's a number over there, 1, and then there's also the what do you call that? The length in inches or in millimeters. You can see that. So that's 1, right? And then there's 2. 3, and for mine the last one will be number 4. Okay, I'm sure if you have gone to the barber, you would heard someone say to cut number 2 or number 3 and so on and so forth, and this is what they are referring to actually. And without the comb, of course, that would be the 0. Okay, so it's 0 and then up to 4, right? I have, of course, this will be entirely optional to you. I have another clipper. This one's not cordless. Alright, so the difference between these two is that this is what we call zero gap. So this is able to cut your hair cleanly. Alright, while this one, even if you close it up, there is a slight gap. I'm not sure whether you can see in the video. There's a slight gap over there. Okay, no? Can't see? Yeah. So there's a slight gap, so you can't really get clean shaven. Alright, it's not that you are going to cut your hair totally bald, but you probably need to clean shave the bottom part that is near your ear, near your kids' ears. Alright, and so this kind of clipper will be useful, and this is not multi-purpose. It doesn't come with any comb, so it's just on its own like that. Of course, I wouldn't say that this is really entirely necessary. Of course, another important piece of equipment when you're cutting hair is of course the scissors, right? So usually we have okay, for the professionals, of course, they have a few, but the main ones would be 2 pairs. All right. So usually the hairdresser scissors will have this little thing over here, this little tail. There's different type of scissors. I guess for basic use, you can get a cheap one. But the more expensive ones, of course, can last longer. For more cuts, won't rust so easily. This is from Kimage, where I took the hairdresser course. Even comes with a nice casing like that. That's one. This is a normal hair cutting scissors. The other one is this one, like a teeth looking one. Okay, and the purpose of this scissors is to thin your hair. Alright, so if your kids or the person you're cutting has very thick hair, this would be very useful. Otherwise, it's not really necessary if you are not thinning the hair. Right? You can buy scissors like this online too. I'm not entirely sure where. I saw some on Qoo10, but it probably is from South Korea or China. It may take some time. Yeah, I'm sure if you look around at some local sites, you might find them. Or if you want simple ones, I think the neighborhood shops, some of them might be selling. Of course, the quality might not be as good, but you are doing a basic cut, I think it's fine. Just don't use a stationary scissors, the ones that's for cutting paper. That's definitely a big no-no. Okay, and probably the last piece of equipment that you need for cutting hair specifically is a comb. Alright, so this is a special hairdresser's comb, but I guess you can use any comb that you have. Alright, preferably that's not too thick or too high. Right, what do you call that? This is a normal width. Okay, I'm talking about the thickness of the comb. Okay, let me give you an example what I'm talking about. Something like this. Yeah, this would be more difficult to use, right? Or rather, I wouldn't recommend using this type of comb. All right, those brown colored ones. And you may need some clips depending on what you're going to cut, how much you want to cut. If it is girls' hair, definitely you will need this. Some hairstyle for guys' hair, you may need this too. Alright, so most parents, their difficulty when cutting hair is basically the kids restless and always moving about, and that makes the job much more difficult. So I can recommend some things for you in order for you to minimize, I wouldn't say to eliminate, but to minimize the movement. Usually for my kids, especially my son, he's moving a lot because of the prickly hair that's on his back and on his neck. So this is a special hairdresser's, I don't know what it's called, but paper roll or whatever. It's meant for the neck, right? So that the hair won't get onto it. You don't need this, of course. You can use toilet paper, and I usually have this kit cover, right? Of course, again, you don't need this, but you can use a trash bag, or even better if you have something that's a little bit more breathable. Before you even do that or put that on, put a lot of powder on your kid's back, neck, and even around the ears. That will help to reduce the itchiness that your child may be feeling. Okay, and always stand by a brush. This is a really small one. I'm sure you can get a bigger one to brush off hair as you cut, and again to minimize that prickliness and itchiness that your kids may be feeling. Other than that, I usually let my son watch video, YouTube video, phone, TV, whatever it is, to distract him. Okay, but of course, like I said again, it does not eliminate the movement. it is important that while you are cutting, you have to be patient. When it is a very crucial, important part that you think that is very visible, maybe give a bit of warning to your child to not move, or if he needs to move, let him move a little bit during that before you start cutting again. Do not panic. If your child is moving, just pull away and wait for a while. Don't rush. And what happens if you are cutting and your child moves? It depends on the how bad it is. Of course, hair will always grow. Just need to see what you can do with it. Always remember, do not immediately continue cutting. Step back and take a look at the damage and see what can be done. Okay, sorry, I forgot two other pieces of equipment. One is this water spray. You need to wet the hair when you are cutting. Okay, so any water spray will do. Those used for gardening or whatever. And you need a mirror. It can be a mobile mirror like this, or it can be a wall mirror. Because you have to have that distance in order for you to see whether the hair is balanced on both sides, etc. It's really not for your customer, but it's actually for you to be able to see that balance. Okay, so I'll try to show you how to cut a boy's hair using a clipper or a high slope on the side and on the back. Unfortunately, we just cut his hair, so I can only show you without any real cutting. The first thing you need to do is to put on a comb attachment. Alright, so if I were you, just starting out, I put on the biggest one, so because this will cut the least amount of hair. Right? Okay, so remember I told you about the half and full position. So go to the half position, and that means that the gap is the biggest here. Okay, as compared to the gap being smaller. So remember, bigger gap. Okay, that's a half position. Right. So what you need to do, okay, is maybe gently hold the side of your boy's head. All right. You can hold the clipper this way. Okay. And what you need to do is go from the bottom and up straight. Okay. Our head, there is a curved part, curved area here. Okay. So do stop before that. Only cut where the head is flat. As an estimation, it will be about 3 fingers. As you can see, Ryan, turn to that side, turn to your left. Okay, so that's just nice, about 3 fingers. Okay, so that would be your rough gauge. If you want to cut a lower slope, then go with 2. Okay, so the main technique is basically to go straight up. Okay, don't follow the curvature of the head. That's the worst thing to do. And do not go outwards like that. Okay. So that's quite a bad habit that many people like to do. So you just go up straight, okay, straight, and do press in and straight. Just make sure you know where to stop. Okay. Do remember that the only cutting part is, of course, the metal part here. All right. So whatever you do, make sure that you understand that you have to stop at where the metal part is. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so from here, go straight up and stop. Ow. Go straight up and stop. Go straight up and stop. Alright. For the start, do not turn your blade first. Okay, just going straight. Okay. Once you cut one side, stop just behind the ear. Okay. Stop just behind the ear. Alright. And then stop and go over to the other side and do the same. Alright, again straight up until behind the ear. Alright, you can move to the side, okay, before going to the back. Alright, so remember I told you about the 3 fingers. Alright, so the rule is basically if 3 fingers at the side, then it's 1 less finger at the side here, and then add 1 more finger. That means 4 fingers at the back. Alright, once again, 3, 2, and then 4. Alright, so if you want to change the number of fingers, so if this is 2, then this will be 1, and this will be 3. So that's up to you what you want to do. But you need to always put your fingers. A rough gauge will do. It doesn't need to be exact, but that's the kind of ratio we are looking at. Okay, so do the same thing. Alright, so from here also straight up. You can start turning your clipper a little bit. Okay, right, and then move on to the back, and also same thing, straight up. Okay, do remember that at the back it is a U, and it's quite a wide U, like a saucer shaped. Alright, so it's not V. Remember, it's not V. That's the worst thing to do. Alright, the mistake people always make is when this part is too high, and then they start having to cut this higher and higher and higher, and it reaches to a high part of the head. Okay, so always be careful. Remember, play safe. Alright, cut lesser. Alright, and then when you are confident and when it looks okay, and then you can go higher and higher. Okay, so once you are comfortable with that, don't need to worry. You don't need to be very straight and very exact. We can do the adjustments later on. Okay, of course it will not look like that. With number 4, remember, it will be still very thick at the bottom here. Okay, so the only correct part will probably be this part here at the top part. For number 4 will probably be at the top edge. Alright, where it meets the so-called main length of the hair. Right? Can you sit up, please? Thank you. So from 4, downgrade to clipper number 3. Right? The important part here now is for your number 3 to not go up to the same length as where your number 4 was. Okay? You have to end slightly lower. Alright? So again, for clipper comb number 3, you cannot end at the same spot at where number 4 was. It has to be slightly lower. Alright? So do the same after 3, and then you go down to comb number 2 and even lower, and then 1 and even lower, and then if you dare, you can go to 0. Alright, always remember that it is open blade. Alright, if you feel confident, of course you can go close for a closer shave, but yeah, you can just do open one for a start. So once you can get down to 0, alright, just as I told you, it will not be when you cut 0, it will not be bulk. It will be very thin hair. Alright, so at the bottom part here, you can go to 0. Okay, without any clipper. Alright, so always remember that wherever you end, for 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0, you will have to overlap a little. Otherwise you can see the lines. Alright, so just slight overlap. Alright, but of course after you finish, you will definitely not be satisfied with that. Okay, so what you can do again is go back to number 4, do a little bit of adjustments, and then number 3, do a little bit of adjustments, and so on and so forth. Next part that you need to do at the bottom here will be to clean off the lines here. Alright, this is where the clipper will be a bit difficult to use, because like I said, it's not 0 gaps, but you can try. Okay, so I suggest that you look at the shape of the hair of your child, how the previous barber or hairdresser has done it, and you can copy. Okay, so but basically usually there's a slight gap above the ear. Alright, not too high. Alright, and then just follow the shape of the ear. Okay, alright, now to the back. The common mistake that people usually make is to make it too narrow. Okay, so once again, I suggest that you either take a photo or try to remember what it looks like in the originally from what your previous barber or hairdresser has done. Alright, so mainly the basic thing about the back part is this is a straight line, and this is also a straight line. Okay, so straight line here, straight line there, and then just behind the ear over here, that's where the curve starts. Okay, so as you can see, a clipper like that is too big, so you got to be very careful. The other thing that you can do is use a scissors and then a shaver. Alright, that would be the best alternative. Otherwise, you can do it, but you have to be very careful. You can do it at the edge like that. Okay, so the last part that you want to cut will be the fringe. Okay, like I said, this is a basic haircut. For many of you will be first time doing it, so I don't suggest you cut too much. Alright, so basically what the main principle about it, alright, many people, of course, including myself in the past, would just take the scissors and just cut straight like that. Okay.
No, don't cut.
So that becomes like what you call the bowl cut,
Cool.
and looks very unnatural. So what you must understand about the fringe is that it's not the hair doesn't come from one spot. Okay. So you can see some part of the fringe comes from this spot. Some part of the fringe come from further back. Okay, so that's when you cut off straight like that, it comes out unnatural. What you need to do is wet the hair first, otherwise it will become very springy and it will be very difficult for you to cut and get a consistent length.
What was that for?
Comb it all down. Ryan, look up please. Ryan, look up first.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm so wet.
Alright, so what you need to do is to split it up. Okay. Okay. I know this is a very difficult skill, but try your best to do that. Can you see how I separated the fringe, front part from the back part? Okay, I'll do that again. Okay. So you see this whole part here, just estimate, see roughly around here, cut it away. Okay, there's no definite length. Okay, there's no definite length. Alright. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut this part over here. Alright, grip with your fingers, pull it off, and determine how much you want to cut. Okay, so let's say if you want to cut this part here, and just cut that length. Like I said again, it's better to play safe and cut lesser rather than more. Okay, you can cut more as you go along. Once you are done with this, okay, what you need to do, okay, and this is very important. What you need to do is take some from what you just cut. So I'll just take a part of that. Okay. Alright, can you see? Okay, I'm doing it slow motion one more time. Okay. So this is what you just cut, right? Imagine that's what you just cut. So you take some from what you just cut as a guide. Okay? As a guide. Hold on to it and take some from the other side at the front. Alright? Now that means that this part here is going to be shorter and this part here is probably going to be longer. So what you do is use the guide and then cut off the longer part. Using the same principle, what you're going to do is start cutting the back part. Okay, so again, okay, just now the original, okay, roughly here, okay, roughly we were cutting that just now. So what you're going to do is you take some from the front part, alright, and then you connect to the back part, and then the front will be the guide and the back will be the one, and then you cut off. And once again, then you go to the side, take some as a guide, and then take some from here, and then you cut. Okay, this is not easy. All right, it's actually very difficult if you have not learned how to do it. So I wouldn't expect you to be able to do that properly. But what you can do is the basic principle of breaking up the hair into smaller parts, and then taking a small part of the original that you have cut as a guide, and to get the adjacent group of clump of hair, if you can call it that, and to cut using the guide. Right, so you keep on continuing to do that. All right, like I said, cut a little bit by bit, bit by bit. All right, and if you keep on doing that, the whole hair will be quite uniform, and the fringe will look pretty much natural. Alright, and this is the last part. This is optional if your son's hair is quite thick and you choose to thin it. Remember these scissors that I was telling you. Okay, so this part is very easy. Okay, once again, I'm really teaching you the unorthodox but very basic and easy to learn technique. Alright, so it's very simple. Just get clumps of it. Okay, of course, try to be organized and try to be orderly. Okay, and you just take these scissors and cut the middle of it. Don't worry, you won't cut the whole thing. Okay, basically what will happen is it just, because of how the blade is, you will just cut parts of it. Okay, you can just cut the whole thing right in the middle like that. Okay, and then once again, take another clump. Okay, and do the same, and all the parts of the hair that you need to thin. Alright, but again, this is optional. If you think you can hold it till the circuit breaker is over, then I suggest you do that, so that you only need one type of scissors rather than two. Alright, so I think that's about it that I can share. It may not be the best, it's a bit rushed. I did it all in one day. That's what I think that someone who hasn't gone through a hair cutting course or hairdressing course would need. Some basic skills. I am myself no professional. I only cut my kids' hair, and even then it's not really perfect. Just make do with it. And some of the advice may not be right, maybe, I'm not sure. So I did this mainly for my close friends whom I thought I could help them. So do take my advice with a pinch of salt. You can compare my advice against other YouTube videos. I'm sure there are a lot of professional hairdressers or barbers that give very good advice. Mine is just tailored to what I think my friends need. Alright, so do give it a try, and hopefully it's successful. Alright, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Wherever I can help, I will try to do so. Alright, all the best and good luck.